Awesome. We are live. I want to thank everyone for joining us. This is yet another episode of Epic Sketch Time. Epic Sketch Time is a weekly drawing group. We have been going strong now for some 6 or 7 years. We started off on Google Plus and moved over to Zoom when Google Hangouts went away, pardon me. My name is Mark Monlux. I live in Tacoma, Washington, and today I'm going to be working on some backer card art for a series of enamel pins I'm going to create. Let's see, I believe Katie was in the room first and then Bill. So folks, why don't you introduce yourself, say where you are and what you're working on today.
Hi, I'm Katie C. I am an artist from Bonnie Lake, Washington. You can find me at Evil Girlfriend Media on Instagram or Ambivalent Tarot. I love to paint people screaming, especially scream queens, and creating tarot cards. I am working on Bruce Campbell, my version of Bruce Campbell today.
And hi, I'm Bill Morse. I'm an illustrator and cartoonist in Seattle, Washington. I do a webcomic called Rhapsodies, and today I am working on that strip since I was a little behind today because I just got distracted by a side project, which now that we're live, I can show it off to you. I've been playing around with this idea of doing something with a kind of semi-modern version of Alice in Wonderland. And so here's my first batch of character designs that I did today. Mostly a way of practicing my watercolors because I let myself slide on them again. And I'm happy to say that doing this, I discovered that I wasn't quite as rusty as I thought I was.
I like that you let the Mad Hatter go with a tank top. I think that's hilarious.
Well, one of the things I've been doing is trying to update it. I mean, and not necessarily update it, but at least take all of the parts that are so Edwardian the kids wouldn't get the references out. And along with not trying to make a design that is completely uninspired by John Tenniel. The problem is after the last century, I doubt anybody would know why a hatter is mad. Between them not knowing that and also I doubt any modern haberdasher would risk mercury poisoning like those original hatters did.
I was interested, this actually will sway into a personal note on my part. In my family's genealogy, this whole branch of the family died, this whole family, and it was through suicides. And I was kind of curious and wondering, okay, is there mental illness in the family? And then I did a little bit of research and I found out that the entire family had started up a living as interior decorators. And their use of lead paint, by reading through their diaries, I found out that they were mixing colors themselves rather than, back then you had to do all the color mixing and you get that perfect shade. And they were working with heavy metals to a tremendous extent and storing them in their house and around them constantly. And it's no wonder that they all went mad and either went off to the loony bin or what have you. So tomorrow I'm going to be posting up an unboxing, but I'm going to show you guys first because I know, Katie, you will love this. This is a thing I did support for on Kickstarter. It is a deck of tarot cards.
And they're pulp.
Oh, I think I saw the ad for that one. Is it the one I think?
That's amazing.
This guy and his artist went into his and their collections and cut and pasted all the artwork from various pulp magazines and old paperbacks and sports magazines and things, and put together this entire deck with that and made them all, I can see they tried to do a little bit of Photoshop work to match the styles together, but it is wonderfully done. And it's going to stay in my possession for a little while, but I thought for sure you guys would appreciate this tarot deck.
Oh yeah. Who are the artists?
Let's see. This was put together by, I got a little instruction book here. Todd Alcott Graphics is the guy who coordinated everything. And let's see. Let's see. Oh, that's a person he was inspired from. I don't know the name of the other artist. Oh, here we go. Varda Steinhardt, who introduced him to the world of tarot. Oh, wait a minute, that's who suggested. Let me see if I can find who. To my friends are Sikoriak, Kriota Wilberg, and Miriam Letcher, who offered invaluable design insights. Wait a minute, that's not another name. I'm looking for names of the actual people. Well, they're somewhere in this little booklet, but I particularly like the fact that the box design is a little book with a little bit of a magnet on it. And this little ribbon here really helps pull the deck out of the box. So there we go. And so he marked it down as a 2021 first edition. I'm pretty happy that I invested in that little thing.
Oh, I bet. It just sounds so cool. And from what I could see, what you posted, it looked really awesome.
So I'll be doing that, posting that unboxing video tomorrow.
Cool.
Did either one of you see my unboxing video for today?
No.
No,
Well,
I don't see a lot of your stuff, which is so weird. I usually see your dreams.
Yeah.
That's usually the only thing I see. I dreamed this today, and I'm like, oh, okay. Or
So
last night, I'm like,
I got
okay.
a package of a bunch of my jigsaw puzzles, which I finally got printed.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
So you guys, and this is a found object jigsaw puzzle. So I'm working up a list of everything that's in the puzzle, and after a while, I just had to stop adding stuff because there's so much in there. And then I went through and added the names of all the people I have involved. So that was fun. I'm working on sort of like a little explanation document to go in with everything. And I might have to trim it down a little bit because I want it to be legible to the elderly. But anyway, that's part of what else I'm going to be working on today.
Yeah, I used to love to do talking about making them legible for the elderly. My grandmother, in her later years, loved doing puzzles, and it was so much fun when being a kid and doing, enjoying something with your grandma. And we would do puzzles with her sometimes.
Oh yeah. my cousin has been having exchange students every year for almost a decade now, and almost all of them have been very big on puzzles. So, for example, every time they bring them with them for Thanksgiving dinner, they'll be spending all their spare time working on a big one. I got a really good sketch out of that one a while ago.
So the word of the day from the, again, email where it says word of the day, and then I asked my friends how it's spelled and what the meaning is.
Uh-huh.
And today's word was pretty, I thought was pretty simple. It was IDES.
Ides?
IDES.
Oh, yeah. Like
well, that's pretty obvious considering the date, IDES.
Yes, but one of my friends didn't know the meaning.
Really?
Yeah. He says, what does IDES mean? I said, no, it's the latter half of the month.
I always thought it was the 15th specifically, but okay.
No, the IDES is plural.
Uh-huh.
So it means the Ida March is the first day of the latter half, but the Ides of March is the latter half of a Ides referred to the latter half of the month. So it can be anything on the calendar, like you should plant your tulips in the Ides of April, or.
But now specifically in Shakespeare and Julius Caesar, it's referring to the 15th, right? Because that's the day he's assassinated.
Yes.
Okay. I could see that. Why? Because I actually thought that as well too. I always just think of the 15th and specifically March 15th. And it's also a very important day today. And it's very convenient for us. It is our little Chihuahua mix, Trenta's second birthday.
I saw that on your Facebook. I thought it was.
Sometimes I look at this dog and I'm like, so a geneticist couldn't make you up. You're so cute. And evil. Like she is an evil little vicious dog, whatever she has to be. Well, when she's not getting her way. When I say she has to be, I mean, you know, one of the other dogs is getting in her way of something she wants. But yeah, 2 years old. She was a COVID baby dog.
Aww.
All right, how's this chin looking? Is it a little more predominant?
Yes.
Okay. I was afraid.
But again, you're still bringing it straight down from the chin. I mean, you're taking it straight down from the chin to the cheek. I mean,
okay.
You're taking it straight from the cheek to the chin. That's a straight line, and I think it needs to bump out a little bit.
So do you mean widen the base here, or widen it here, or?
Let me. I'll get out my tablet and show you on my tablet what I mean.
There should be a section on this. How when someone teaches Katie how to draw and or art. My art lessons for the day.
Yeah, I've been having a similar issue with sculpture recently.
I don't feel like that's something I ever need or want to have to challenge myself to do.
Sculpture? I love sculpture.
Yeah. I think I don't know if I showed this off to you all recently, but I just got some 3D very nice 3D software for my pad, and my learning curve is, oh darn, sorry, the glare. Learning curve is coming.
Yeah, it just
slowly but
stuff
surely.
All over it's my computer almost slowed down. So don't mind me. I'm getting to it. I'm doing something over here first.
Okay, I just didn't want it to fall really noisy. You just scared me when I heard something.
Yes. Things fell and went bumped. Sorry about that, people.
No worries.
My wife in the other room is going, she have a stroke.
I've also, you were talking about the Mad Hatter thing, and
Yes.
I was kind of laughing to myself because I have developed this nasty habit. I'm not gonna lie, it's nasty, where I want to stick my paintbrush in my mouth to fix it. And I'm like, stop it! You can't sell your DNA when you're painting. But I guess I would be a Mad Hatter much quicker.
Yeah, so that's a good habit to not get into. I remember, I do not know if this was a urban myth going around my art school or not, but there was a story about a student who collapsed by being exposed to cadmium red too much.
Oh, that's just a myth. That's a.
It is a nasty habit, and for whatever reason, you just start doing it, and you're like, "Stop! Don't do that."
Well, apparently my tablet is at like 0, so I gotta let
no.
it charge up for a little bit before I can show you exactly what I
Okay,
mean.
I can work on something else while we're waiting.
I'm looking for a piece of paper here that I could possibly just draw it on.
Oh, paper! I knew what I.
Yes, paper.
No, I can't mock you too much because I've been using my tablet once. One time I caught myself trying to zoom in my sketchbook.
Oh, I guess what I could do is show you guys my because Bill, I don't think you saw what I ended up doing with Tiffany to make her look younger.
Oh,
I actually based her off a Disney princess doll. I was like, I'm thinking about putting the amulet from the movie on her necklace. It's just kind of like a little Easter egg. But yeah, because I wanted to soften her up like Chucky is softened up. She's a little bit lighter, so I'm gonna probably have to add some more shading. He's got a lot more brown in her, but she's also based, you know, the Disney princess dolls all have like the perfect porcelain skin, and but yeah, I think I left enough elements that especially when she's put together with Chucky, that she looks, you can get that she's Tiffany because of those horrendous eyebrows.
Speaking of using the tablet so much, I caught myself tapping on my iPad screen to undo when I'm screen sharing on Clip Studio. Another thing with Procreate, don't laugh too hard, but I only just recently learned or realized how to redo something.
Oh.
Redo?
Yeah, 2-finger tap is undo, 3-finger tap is redo. And for some reason that fact had escaped me. I just had to redraw if I undid by mistake.
So Katie, here you'll see that you have it coming pretty much down like a straight line.
Yes.
But if you add in a little bit of a pyramid popping off on the side, just
gotcha.
Bring the jaw down and then take a look on the left-hand side. See how it looks just a little bit more natural? That's because the cheek comes in, then the jaw comes out, then it's a line from the bottom of the jaw to the chin.
It's because, yeah, I see what you're saying, because I'm like this, it doesn't actually...
Right now you're making the hinge of his jaw go all the way up to his cheeks, and he's got a strong jaw and his chin's very strong. So what you want to do is drop it down, and from the bottom of the cheek, drop it down just a little bit straight down, and then go in. and you'll
So,
see that it'll make a huge difference.
so when you're measuring that, so do you take like the corner, like if I'm smiling, do I go from the corner of the mouth? Is that where the triangle needs to come out?
Well,
Like right
because
here?
his face is distorted, basically the camera is doing a fisheye on him. So you can
Yes.
get away with whatever really looks good. It doesn't have to be an actual proportion. In this situation, I would say where the corner of his mouth is should be the top of the pyramid. So start up high on the a little higher up, and then just
Right about
draw.
there?
Yeah, start there, go straight down, then at the mouth, then at the corner of the mouth, pull it in here, right like that, and start smoothing that in and seeing how it looks.
Gotcha. Okay. Ah, I see what we're doing here. Okay, I was totally not understanding you. I'm more of a visual person. I might have to blend it up a little higher,
yeah.
but that's okay. And I can hide it with blood on his face, so that's always
Yeah.
good.
That's show that to Tim and he'll say, oh yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah, he said that last night right before we were going to bed. I was like, oh, and I was like, how do I do this? But I knew once I got here that one of you would have the advice I needed to get this. Because I don't know if you guys ever remember a comedian named Ernest.
Yes.
Oh, Ernest, yes.
So Ernest had a very narrow face, and he did a lot of expression with his eyes as well as his mouth, kind of a little bit like how God, I can't even think of his name right now. I've had a long day.
Give us a hint.
He had tremendously expressive lips and mouth.
Yeah,
And-
so I keep thinking that he looks like Ernest from Scared Stupid, and that's why, is because his face was so much more narrow. And so I'm replicating that a little bit by not giving him that strong jawline. And so yeah, that is definitely the problem. I think this one is going to be a little bit smaller, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I read too many Mad magazines because I feel like my style.
Actually, I know that feeling. If it's for the longest time, a lot of the classic movies that we all know and love, I was introduced to from the Mad movie, the Mad parody of them first. And sometimes even then it's kind of hard to separate them because they were frequently so spot on. So for example, their version of True Grit was making tons of fun of John Wayne's jingoism and how Rooster McCab was such a kind of self-parody of John Wayne, or John Wayne playing a parody of himself.
Okay, I see it. Okay, I just got to do some shading and we'll get it looking a little more natural. Anatomy is important, folks.
Yes.
Even when you don't know that you're not using it. I think that's probably why people that actually go to art school, don't you have to take like a drawing anatomy class where all you do is like draw bones and jaw fascias and
you'll come out of that
musculature?
class you pretty much having a knowledge of the bone, skeletal and muscular system that rivals a med student of the same level.
There was I spent 4 weeks of just doing the class, spent 4 weeks just doing nothing but drawing skulls.
Oh, see, I love skulls.
One skull after the other, multiple shapes, just trying to learn little tips and tricks on how to do, because if you can do a good skull, you got the bones of a good drawing underneath it.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha.
I'm sure that was completely unintentional.
No, that was my teacher's joke. And even he was tired of it.
Yeah, I think I still have the notebook that we had the assignment of doing. Which,
Do you have any tips or tricks for drawing skulls? I don't know if you noticed on Instagram, I hijacked a couple of Tim's old pouring pieces and I'm interpreting them. And I have a green one that I originally was going to interpret as a Return of the Living Dead piece, but then I realized it actually looks like a skull. And I'm trying to figure out how to shape the skull. Now, painting over a pouring piece is a little challenging because you have the whatever the pouring medium, it makes it very slick. But yeah, I'm going to be working on trying to kind of make this look more like a skull, and then the red, and I wanted to call it, somebody call forensics files. This is the because it looks like the evidence of a crime scene. My other one was Abel from, Cain and Abel, because, he got clocked in the head. But I thought that might be it wouldn't be as funny.
Well, here's a tip for you.
Yes.
When you're doing a skull, if you forget about the lower jaw, and I'm just trying, and if you go by where the teeth are,
Yes.
okay, and then you'll see that my eyes are below the halfway point. Okay,
Right.
so when you draw a circle for the front of the oval for the front of the face, just figure out, okay, where is the line for the mouth on this? And know that it's going to look a lot better if the eyes are at least halfway down. And then, so you basically divide it into fifths. You got 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 1/5. That's always a good starting measurement. Another point is where the eyes are, have the eye sockets come in at an angle, make them look sad, because that's the natural shape of the eye, is actually in a downward angle.
Okay. Man, we've done a lot of technical stuff today, which is really cool.
Also, when you close your mouth and your lips seal up, they do not seal up right over where your teeth connect.
Gotcha.
It varies from person to person where the lips fall on the face. So some people might have an underbite, some people might have an overbite, but don't use that as a rule of thumb. Actually, if you're looking from the side and you got the top of your teeth, imagine that your top teeth are actually lying a little bit behind your bottom lip when you have your mouth closed on a profile shot.
Gotcha. All right, let me start blending this bad boy in.
But yeah, most people, when they're drawing people and characters, they make the forehead far too small.
I can see that, because I love to make big old eyes, whether I mean to or not. It's just freaking some weird subliminal thing I do.
oh, I get it. I think since I do a fairly cartoony style, I frequently have to remind myself that eyes are the normal size when I'm drawing in any other genre.
Also, a good way of figuring it is if you look at the side of the head,
Yeah.
the skull is making a circle up to the front of the eyes, and it's pretty much coming right from the ear point as the rotation point.
Gotcha.
So do a round circle, and that way you make the back of the head deep enough. Okay, and so your jaw comes down a little bit in front of the ear at a slight angle. The eyes should actually be the midway point, so your nose is going to be coming down. And the Japanese anime is great because I think they've got this thing where the nose comes out and the face structure comes out like this to the nose. And it is on an angle. It's typically the chin's not all the way out there. It's the nose that, so you got everything coming to the nose. I'll do a quick little sketch here. Maybe I can get see my drawing tablet. Oh, I got 40% on my drawing tablet. Okay.
Dang, that's a good charger.
So I'm going to do a quick, hang on, screen share. Okay. So here's a side shot. Okay. Do a circle,
Mm-hmm.
figure out where your center point is. Okay, that's pretty much going to be where your ear is going to go.
Okay.
There's the hold of the ear. So now here's the eye. Jaw comes down a little bit of an angle, then comes out. From the nose, there's the nose, and then here's the mouth.
Gotcha.
You can even make this more snubby. You want to bring it in a little bit. So now at this point, I can bring in the nose, go back out with the lips, go back in with the lips, go back out with the lips, go back in, come down, there's the chin. There's a bone structure that's actually pretty sharp right here
Okay.
that forms the eye socket. But it's also, right where the ear canal and the jaw meet up. So from here, you can work on your cheekbone. Your shading. Now I'm going to draw underneath this. In another color. So your skull, here's your skull. Whoops, that's done another color. Underneath. And another color. Okay. So this is the bone, the bridge bone folds back to the circle and then comes forward again. and then drops down to make for your teeth.
Gotcha.
Okay. Teeth pretty much go straight back. Here's what jawbone looks like. Now, right about here, about we got 2/3 way back on the circle. This is where the skull comes in sharply and aims towards the neck.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then it goes, see this third line here?
Mm-hmm.
I usually use that as a neck point. Draw some vertebrae. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of black line over the top.
Wow, that's crazy. We went from, okay, I can see already what I need to do for the skull. I have way too much stuff.
Now, you can volumize the hair quite a bit. And don't forget that there's skin that comes. If you're young, this skin's going to be tight to the jaw. The
Right.
younger you are, or the younger you want to make the character look, the tighter that is. As the older you get, the more of a waddle you develop. And the looser that skin gets. There's a muscle that comes down in front like that. So let's see if I get rid of the skull in the background now. Whoops. Apparently I was drawing on the wrong layer.
Oh dear.
Anyway, so that's the side of the skull. Let me do what I was talking about for the front of the skull. These are just little tips that I do all the time. Okay. Start with an oval. And divide this oval into fifths. Oops. Okay. So if you got more of a circle, about halfway down, make the eyes kind of sad. In. Then you got your teeth. To the nose. If you draw an upside down heart, that's a good way of getting the nostril formation in there.
Okay.
Sometimes the bone will flare on the side like this. This bone here on the middle, you can actually see it, but it dips down. So this area right there is where the nostrils are going to be. There's a little bit of a line around the eye for support. Got that socket support coming in from the top of the head. It's going to be darker more towards the center than the edges because you can see the outside of the socket more. The cheek support actually comes forward before the tooth structure because this part of the teeth structure is back and behind this part's back and behind the cheek structure. Stick that out. Come pretty much straight down for the jaw. Flare it out a little bit when you bring it down the other jaw structure. Give it a little bit of an edge coming in. Even if when I drew this, I'm still thinking, oh, look at that top of the head. Top of the head is, I still don't have enough space for the top of the head. So if this is the beginning of your bone structure, you can go back in. I'm going to lighten this. Now I'm going to put in the eyes. Let's see, the nostrils are right here. Bridge of the nose comes down. Of course, your eyelids are like this. I'm kind of drawing little tiny lines coming straight down from the eyes to get the corners of where my mouth would be. There's a little divot on the lips underneath the nose, so that's a good idea of where the lips will be. Always a shadow right there. The darkest places when you're drawing a face will be this part on the eye, underneath the brow.
Okay.
The next darkest place will be underneath the nose. And the next darkest will be a little bit underneath the lip. And there'll be a little bit of a shadow on the top of the lip. The ear, you remember from the side to side drawing, the ears, the top of the nose to the top of the eye is usually a good size for your ear. And ear shapes vary. Sometimes the middle of them comes out like that. Pull that. But here's that part we were talking about before where the jaw just comes straight down. First there's the cheek. Then it comes in, then it comes down to get a little bit of that jaw, and then out it goes. And you can add by doing the dimple. And do some wrinkles. And I have a thing about lines. The more lines you add, the older a person gets. Make this thin on the top. But add a few
Yeah, that was
this.
like the Meg Foster picture I drew last year. The lines on the actual actress did not make her look that old, but when you put them on the drawing, because there's more lines, even though it's just the natural curvature of her face, she looks older in the picture.
Yeah, but you can make this look a lot softer by not using black lines, or by, instead of using, you can use a cool line instead. If I was to draw this with color instead of a black, or with black, it would look a lot better. Like I'll go in and just underneath, and it'll work with any color. I'll just grab a blue, and I'm going to okay, so this is a rather dark looking Dr. Manhattan. I'm going to lighten that up a little bit. So if I had on this top drawing, and I'm just going to actually, rather than erasing these lines, I'm going to, is there a way I can select those and then draw them? There's a way to mask those. Let's see. Maybe if I hit the mask, I mask. Okay. Now let me try to. That's it. Yes, it did. Kind of. And that didn't work. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know how to use my mask layers. I'll just make this just a slightly darker blue, and just draw over these lines with the blue
Gotcha.
rather than the black.
Yeah, it looks significantly
So
softer.
and then for some of these, I'll use a slightly darker. For the deeper lines, go a little darker. So yeah, that's already softer than before.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Now, and if you didn't have such firm edges, if I was to go into that layer and say, let's see, blur it, let's see. There's me blurring it, and that softens up the image quite a bit. But for some reason, I'm blurring the whole thing and not just that particular layer. But you can do the same thing when you're painting by loading the paint. Instead of having the paint really wet, have your bristles really dry, and just like a cosmetic brush when you're doing a rouge or something, just do light brushy strokes to kind of blend it in rather than big wet strokes.
Gotcha.
A little bit of paint at a time, but of course the undersurface has to be pretty dry. Oh, and I'm gonna turn that off. Stop share.
Ignore the dogs if you hear them.
I heard something squeak, but I thought it was your chair.
Oh no, that was Gracie. She was saying happy birthday to Trenta. No, not really. That was her yelling, airing her grievances with the other dogs. I'm sure they're either not wanting to play with her or they have a toy she wants. One of those would be my top predictions on what she's upset about right now. Mark, I don't think you got anything that you were actually working on done today. Just you did an art lesson instead, but I appreciate it very much.
Well, right now I'm going through, I use Grammarly to help clean up my language, but I write a lot in the passive voice, and it's always nags me. You're writing too much in the passive voice. I'm thinking, I don't care. I like the passive voice.
Yeah, I have to write in active voice a lot, and when I get my reports back, it's always like, who did what to what or whom? It's like, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah, between grammar, though the CEO function of no, maybe it is as far the scoring on the quality of my text on WordPress gets even worse on that, because apparently you lose points by having too much passive phrases according to the WordPress. The one thing it hates more than passive sentences is ones longer than 20 words.
Oh no.
But I find Grammarly is also a fairly good teacher, because anything, since I'm not doing the pay version yet, I find it very educational to figure out what all of the yellow marks mean.
Well,
Right.
I do use the pay version, and I can tell you right now, it's well worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good.
And of course, one of the hard parts is a lot of what I'm proofreading is dialogue. So sometimes a lot of the stuff they're telling me is wrong technically does not apply.
So in Tacoma, once a month, there's a thing called the tripod slideshow. And a woman's been putting on for like over a dozen years. And she picks 3 local artists, gives them a theme, and they're limited to only 50 slides, and they only have 15 minutes to do a slideshow.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Following a theme, whether that be community development or what have you. But basically, she knows what artists are working on and what projects they have. And so one time it'll be the fashions of Tacoma. We had some fashion designers doing some stuff, as well as an architect designer. But the thing was, you have to keep it to 15 minutes and no more than 50 slides.
Okay.
So I've done it to shot, and she called me back. I've done it like 3 or 4 times. And the last time she had me back, she says, I want you to do a repeat of your last slideshow because that one was really hilarious. I said, okay. I said, but, don't you think people have seen it? I said, well, it's been 2 years since COVID. We're trying to do a kickoff. I'm bringing back all the heavy hitters, everyone who can make everybody laugh. That's Doug Mackey, you, and this other guy. I said, oh, that's great. Let me tell you, the third guy just bombed.
No.
He was terrible.
Oh, did he get nervous, do you think? Or
No, he was the stand-up comic who was, his heyday was way past, and or some guy who, did a lot of stand-up comedy, but no one knew him. And he was like in his 70s now. And people were clapping out of effort, and he really lingered too much. He really loved the stage. So, but it was, I was kind of like groaning.
Oh dear, you'd think a good comedian would be good at editing.
I didn't say he was a good,
well, let me rephrase that, a professional comedian.
And he might have just been having an off night. But anyway, so I mentioned to her that I'm going to be putting out these jigsaw puzzles around town pretty soon because we have a big found art culture here in Tacoma where we hide artwork for people to find on the street. And he says, oh, why don't you come in and I'll have you stand up and talk about that. I said, how can I miss this? This is my demographic of people who can actually afford this jigsaw puzzle. So, because it runs like $40 if you order it online.
Honestly, I feel like if anything, people should just listen to these because you do a lot of have a lot of ideas on how to generate income as an artist. And I don't even know that people would have the competency to steal your ideas, but at least it could help inspire them to do their own. I don't know that I would ever want a puzzle of my work or to figure out how to do that.
Oh, I think you could put you have 50 pieces yet?
I think I could figure out how to make 50 pieces out of some of my art. I don't know. I'm still very
what I did, one of my slideshows was just my deck of obscure movie monster playing cards because that's 52. And so I said, yeah, I'll just take 50 of these things and show them. And I had 2 more in the hopper, and someone said, Mark, there's 52 in a deck. I said, yeah, but the slide limit's 50. And Lynn says, go ahead. I said, okay, the other 2. And everyone went, yay.
I don't think I have 50 pieces yet. It's okay, though. I'll get there.
But the tripod show, they actually have a hook because some of these people don't know how. They just run off the mount. They can't control themselves. They're ADD. And they actually will take the hook and pull them off the stage.
A literal hook?
A literal hook.
Oh, cool. I didn't know they
fun.
Somebody made her a literal hook for her to use. And Lord knows I wish he had brought it the last couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't planning on going this Friday because there's also a movie I want to see, a midnight show called Brain Dead at Friday Night Frights.
I
Yes.
think I know. Is that a Peter Jackson one? That sounds
No,
familiar.
you're thinking of Dead Alive.
Okay.
Brain Dead is not a Peter Jackson film. But Katie knows what the movie I'm talking about. And yes, there's a 10 o'clock showing on Friday at the Blue Mouse Theater. If you and Tim want to come down and have fun, you know who Nick Ducker is.
I do. Yes.
Nick is doing the movie poster and will be selling the movie poster before the show.
Oh, that would be fun. I will. Unfortunately, I'm working that night. I'm doing a special
I seem to
assignment.
remember that it was anyway, so that's what my plans are. And good Lord, people, believe it or not, you've managed to pass away another Katie. He's looking so good.
It took a hot minute, but I think I've got him sorted. Thank you so much for that technical advice. And I have to tell my husband, you are in fact correct.
So, Bill, are you going to show us what you've been working on?
Oh yeah, sure. It's not. Just a second.
Too late. No, go ahead.
Oops, bear with me.
I'm gonna go yell at Tim as soon as I get off here and be like, come up here and look at this. Oh.
Oh, what's the matter with me? Don't answer that. I was going out with sharing it on my iPad, and I completely forgot it was on Clip Studio. So, and
there you go.
sorry, where? Oops, no. There.
Looks like you're making progress.
Yeah.
Well, folks, that's it. And we will see you next Wednesday. Look for a link in the doobie-doo below to sign up for this event next week. We send out a little email reminder. And those usually go out either on Sunday or Monday. I think I had this one come out last night for the reminder. But we always use the same link, so in case you get one invite, you don't have to put it on your calendar. We're always here, and I'll see you guys next week.
Okay.